Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another in the Kaiko Systems webinar series. My name is Taz Bachu. I'm VP Global Sales at Kaiko Systems, and I will be your host in today's webinar talking about Shore Reports, a smarter way to run shore-based vessel inspections. Before I run through the agenda and introduce you to the speakers on today's call, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you've been to one of the Kaiko Systems webinars before, you will know that there are polls. There is the option to ask questions and interact with our speakers throughout this morning's webinar. If you look to the bottom of your screen, you'll see the Q&A widget and the polls widget as well. They will flash up and they will light up throughout the course of this morning. So please do keep an eye on that. Please send in your questions. We do have a Q&A section at the end, but if you've been on one of these before, you will know that I will ask questions of our speakers as we go through the presentation and the webinar this morning as well. Running through a quick agenda for today, we'll be talking a little bit more around the challenge. So looking at the current view from the office, what our technical superintendents and the market are facing today, and then introducing you to the concept of Kaiko Systems Shore Reports, our process in making inspections and analysis of your fleet a lot easier. I'm joined by two of my colleagues this morning, and they'll be doing the bulk of the speaking on this webinar. I'm delighted to introduce Tyler Hewitt, who is our Senior Account Executive, and he'll be giving you a view of the market. I'm really talking you through some of the current problems we have seen from the market and what has kind of led us to address those. And we will also be having a product run through by Jordanka, our Senior Product Manager, and one of the brains behind the actual tool itself. So without further ado, I will hand over to Tyler and get the webinar started.
Cool. Thank you very much, Taz, and a very good morning and afternoon to everyone that's joined. As Taz mentioned, my name is Tyler, and I am a Senior Account Executive at Kaiko Systems, where my goal and ambition is to connect with as many of you on the call as possible to understand further your frustrations, challenges, and ultimately your desires on how you would like to see your work made a little bit easier and to identify whether we can match that up with a viable solution. Today, we're going to be talking about something every technical superintendent or marine superintendent can relate to, and that is the pain of reporting. Those long days on board, gathering notes, photos, and observations, and coupled with the long nights, trying to turn that all into a report that actually makes sense to the people on board, on shore. Our goal today is to unpack that and why that process has become such a burden, and how Kaiko's Shore Reports is going to help you guys claim back your time, improve accuracy, and turn data into insight. The primary responsibility of a TSI is to keep the ship safe, compliant, and efficient. What we're going to get into is why that current process is maybe not so straightforward. Let's start with the current reality of things. Reporting for superintendent visits, audits, or inspections is still very heavily manual. You're collecting notes on a notepad, photos on a camera or a phone, lists in Excel spreadsheets, reports in Word documents, and then you're sending that, or half of that, via email to the office, often with attachments that are too large to even open on board. It's a messy process. It wastes a lot of time. It also creates inconsistencies. Now, every superintendent also has their own style, so reports often look different ship to ship. And when you're managing 20, maybe 30 vessels, that inconsistency adds up over time. There's also the challenge of then tracking those findings and observations. Often those get handed over to the crew on paper or buried in emails, meaning that ultimately there's no clear record of what was closed out or rectified and when, or even who it was done by. By the time somebody reviews it, that report might actually even be outdated. Now, many companies have tried to fix this with their ERP or planned maintenance systems, but the truth is those systems were never really designed for superintendent reporting. They're great for managing machinery maintenance reports and schedules, not necessarily for flexible human-led inspections that involve photos, commentary, and often nuanced judgment. So what happened? Well, ultimately, superintendents ended up back in Word and Excel because it was faster and it was more comfortable and convenient, even though it was painful and laboriously time consuming. That's the current status quo. It's costing time, it's costing accuracy and transparency across the entire ship to shore chain. We've got a poll coming up now, actually, and I'd like you all to, get those fingers on the ready to get involved and get engaged. You'll see it pop up on the screen shortly. And the question for that is, how do you currently handle superintendent visit reports? So I think we've got a few results coming in so far. Okay, there's some interesting results coming in. Some not so surprising. Give it a couple more seconds. So far at the top of the leaderboard, we have Word and Excel documents, which is unsurprising, I think, for myself and Jordanka. We've also got a few marking dedicated software as well. All right, I think we're almost at the ready. More than 60% of you guys are mentioning that Word and Excel documents seem to be the primary source of truth. Leading more towards 65% now as well. All right. I think we've got the bulk of the responses in so far. Thank you, everyone, for submitting your answers. All right. Okay, so as I mentioned, about 65% of you have said that Word and Excel documents are the current process of handling your superintendent visit reports, which leads me into the next component, which is talking about the current challenges and issues. I'm not going to bore all of you by spending too much time on this slide going through every single component, but what I will touch upon is some of the key and sort of most common issues, I guess, that pop up in conversations, that being manual and fragmented data collection, inconsistent reporting formats, and the administrative burden of closure, I think, is ultimately, what's at the top level of discussion here. Unsurprisingly, we have another poll that's going to pop up for you in just a second as well, asking you for your opinion on what your biggest challenge with inspection reporting is today. So again, fingers on the ready, get those answers coming in. And I think this will just be interesting for everyone to see where the most common issues lie. Right, so straight out of the blocks, we've got a heavy weighting towards slow report completion and follow-up on findings. In a close second, we've got too much manual admin as well. I think those somewhat, have an element of crossover. There's a couple for lack of visibility and inconsistent formats. Very nice. So we're sitting on about 60% for slow report completion and follow-up on findings, which again is unsurprising. So feel free to write in the comments as well if you have alternatives, other things that you want to mention as well that maybe is not on the poll. It'd be good to sort of see what the general feel is across the board. All right, thank you everyone for taking part in that. And as I said, I'm sure none of these are a surprise to anyone. It's a shared pain, but that's why we're here, to hopefully tick these off one by one and slowly eradicate them so that they're no longer a burden. Now, I wanted to talk you through a sort of a day in the life of a TSI and their inspection process. From what I've gathered in terms of feedback and conversations, my understanding, technical superintendents obviously face a lot of stress and time pressure on board, quickly trying to note observations, snapping up photos, ensuring all required areas are inspected within that very limited time frame. So it does often feel rushed. Then they're back into the office or hotel room, starting to turn these scattered notes into detailed professional reports, using templates built either in Excel spreadsheets, as a lot of you mentioned, and Word documents. And then before you can even finish that, you're then called for another inspection. So immediately you've got to fly to another port, carry out another inspection on another vessel, or even attend a vessel that has had an emergency or an issue. Then you've got to create a report for this new vessel, but you still haven't even completed the report for the previous one. So when you get to writing the report of the first vessel, you now have to rely on week-old memories, notes, data, messy photo galleries, hundreds of mixed up photos that are not tagged to specific vessels or different areas of the vessel, all on your mobile phone, on your desktop, trying to remember which vessel each photo was and for what reason, and that repetitive manual entry into those spreadsheets and documents, as we've already discussed. And then finally, the inspections obviously don't stop. They keep piling up. Unfinished reports keep piling up. And ultimately, this could lead to, up to a month or more to finish a report in its entirety. So the real question here is, what is the solution and how do we fix this? How do we give superintendents a way to inspect, document, and communicate seamlessly without adding even more admin work and even more stress and pain in that respect? And that's exactly where Sure Reports comes in. This was a statement from somebody that I had a conversation with not too long ago, speaking directly to that. The paper trail is massive, and constantly cross-referencing to see if a problem is new or a repeat issue from last time. Again, I don't think that's super uncommon to anyone. But ultimately, what is Sure Reports? It's Kaiko's digital reporting module built specifically for superintendent visits, audits, and inspections. It's not another ERP system. It's not a static form or PDF filler. It's a purpose-built tool that brings reporting into a structured, consistent, and collaborative format, both on board and for the onshore team as well. You can use it offline in the mobile application while on board, and then instantly sync it once you are connected. So you can complete a full inspection with your photos, notes, checklists on board, and then ultimately walk off the vessel with the report practically done. So who's it for? Obviously, superintendents and surveyors as well, capturing those inspections and observations directly on site. Technical managers who are reviewing and approving reports centrally. Safety and compliance teams who are then tracking those findings and identifying fleet-wide trends, as well as the crew who are viewing assigned findings in the mobile app and marking them as rectified. So now everyone's looking at the same structured data, no duplication, no version confusion. All of the information is there and ready to go. The biggest win here is ultimately reducing manual work, right? So instead of collecting data 5 different ways from all areas of the globe, you capture it all at once within context as well. The report is then automatically formatted, photos will be tagged, and findings will be logged directly in the system. The time that you used to spend formatting Word documents or resizing images, I want you to picture that as something of the past, completely gone. Now what you can do is focus on what really matters, and ultimately that is insight over data. The core benefits that I want to mention and highlight here are the mobile flexibility. So as I said, working offline, syncing data, instant reporting. So ultimately you have the opportunity to wrap up inspections on the same day, have standardized outputs, so professional, consistent PDFs and reports every single time, and integration, so being able to push findings or reports directly into existing systems so that ultimately nothing is lost in translation. Shore Reports aims to turn inspections from paperwork into intelligence. So instead of saying we had 30 observations last week or 30 observations last month, you can now say we've reduced repeated findings on safety equipment by 40%. That ultimately is the difference between data and insight. And we've got a quick snapshot of what that looks like. But without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Jordanka, who is going to take us through a live demonstration and give you a bit of a taste and feel of what you can expect coming forward.
Thank you very much, Ty. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm going to show you and explain how we actually solve the problems that Ty talked about so far. So how we address the problems with too much retyping, big delays in finalizing the reports, with a lot of administrative work, finalizing the documentation around the vessel inspection. So I am going to walk you through our process, starting from how we are using our mobile application, moving forward to our dashboard, where we are going to do the post-processing and finalizing the report, and how I will show you how the final PDF report looks like. First of all, before we go on a vessel visit, what our maritime experts are going to do, they are going to set up for you your reporting structure. So based on your existing reports that you are already completed in Word, on Excel, or in any other format, we are going to create a template in our system that would help you, once you start the vessel visit and inspection of the vessel, to follow the same structure and collect the inspection data in the same way as before, but in a more convenient way. So what you see here on your screen is our Kaiko mobile application. I am logged in as a technical superintendent. What I see here is the Shore Reports module. When I open the module, the first thing that I see is the list with the reports that are already created for the vessel that I'm inspecting, the webinar tanker. Just a moment, it's not. Yeah, so we have technical issues. The idea is that, let me just stop sharing and try again. So the idea is that when I go on the mobile application and select the Shore Reports module, I'm going to see the reports that are already created for the vessel, and the inspection that I need to conduct. Ty, maybe you can open the slides. Meanwhile, no, not necessary. Let me continue from here. So I was planning to show you my mobile device, but unfortunately it decided that it's not going to work. So this is the mobile application and the Shore Reports module. Clicking on the Shore Reports module, what we see is the list with the show reports that are already created for that vessel. I have one report that is already in progress. If you want to start a new inspection with new reporting structure, what you need to do is just click and create a new report. With just few clicks, you will be able to create out of the templates that I already mentioned, initially another report in our mobile application. So I'm giving a name for the report. I'm selecting one of the templates that our maritime team have set up for you. I add the inspector name. Here, important thing is that you can also add several inspectors in case you want to split the inspection between several colleagues. If it is taking too long, you can select the inspection date, start, end date, and with just few taps, you are able to create a new report. And in that list, in the mobile application, you are going to see all reports that have been created from you or from other superintendents for that vessel specifically. What is also good and very convenient for our mobile application, it is that first, it is progressive web application, meaning that it can run on any mobile device, no matter the operating system. And second, that it can operate also offline. So once you log in the mobile application, you download all the configuration for the vessel. From there on, you can carry on your vessel inspection completely offline. So the next step here is I will walk you through a report that is already in progress. Assuming that we are already on a vessel visit and we have collected some inspection data. So when I open the report, what I see are all areas that have to be inspected. This is following the structure that have been defined in the initial report template that was created by our maritime team. The mobile application is designed in a way that it focuses on a way how you can collect the inspection data as fast as possible. So here, what you see are only the areas that needs to be inspected while you are on the vessel visit. I'm showing you here how you can provide okay, not okay ratings for the inspected areas, or 1 to 5 inspection rating for other areas. This is all configurable. Our system also supports free text inspections. So whenever you want to collect just the free text for the inspected areas, you can type in the observation, or you can also use the voice to text functionality from your mobile device that I cannot show you right now. And you just talk, and all the collected transcript from your voice notes will be inserted as input of our text field in the mobile application. You can save it, and that will be part of the report in the end. The mobile application also allows for any inspected area, the inspector to take photos. You can take, so this is a browser, so I'm taking photos of myself, but imagine that we are inspecting a vessel, so you can take as many photos as you want and as you need for any of the areas of the vessel. In addition to that, you can also add text observations for the rating inspections. So where you want to add some additional notes, or the rating requires additional explanation, you can type them in through your mobile device, or you also use voice to text functionality here. The report is structured currently to be able to access especially the photo and the observation function options in the mobile app as fast as possible. Therefore, the structure here that you see will not be absolutely the same as the structure of the final report and the report that we'll see in our dashboard. Once you are ready with the inspection, and this is up to you if you want to do that at the end when the whole inspection is completed, or you want to do it stepwise, you can tap on the upload button here in the mobile application, click upload, and that would transfer all inspection data from the mobile application into our cloud. With that step, what will also happen is all ratings that have been provided as negative ones, like for example, if you give a rating for the cargo plan 1 or 2, those ratings will be converted into findings in our system once the inspection data is uploaded into the cloud. The findings that are already created can be seen in the mobile application first in our findings menu. Those findings are visible for the technical superintendent who has done the inspection, but they are also visible and accessible for the crew members if they are using the mobile application, which would allow them to follow up immediately once the finding is identified and reported by the superintendent. They can immediately follow up and start working on it. For example, if they can open the finding, read through the information here. They're even able to leave comments. As you see here, the technical superintendent has left a comment, and then the master of the vessel also left a follow-up. There is a direct channel of communication instead of going through emails. This can happen through our system. And the crew members or the technical superintendent, this is again according to your workflow and how you prefer to rectify the findings. Anyone with access to the vessel in the mobile application can rectify the finding by providing another answer, a positive answer that the finding is rectified, with the observation text confirmation that everything is resolved, and additionally a photo evidence that can be provided. Saving that rectified finding and uploading into the cloud would change its status to rectified. And here we can see that also the rectified findings are visible for the technical superintendent, but also for all crew members in the mobile application. Now, we have already uploaded our report into the dashboard. So what I'm going to show you now is how the same report looks in our cloud and how you will be able to update it and finalize it. So this is the same vessel with the same report, but how it looks like in our dashboard. Here you will notice that there is much more information compared to what we saw in the mobile application, and this is on purpose. We decided that in the mobile application, we want to focus only on the areas that have to be inspected, where in the dashboard, the idea is to have also all additional information, summaries, metadata that have to be collected for the vessel, but that it's not necessary to be done in the short period of time when you are going on a vessel visit and you don't have time to type in everything there on the point. So this is, again, example structure, and it can be changed completely. It is coming from a template that we have created initially. Our report is having a landing photo of the vessel with vessel particulars that we are fetching from external system based on the IMO number of the vessel. So if we want to have all that information in the final report that we are going to generate, we can add the vessel particulars in the report. Here I have added a lot of meta information about the apart from the inspection particulars. I have summaries, I have guidelines here for the report, a section for the executive summary that is also not visible in the mobile app because our interviews show that the summaries are in the end done when the whole report data is already collected, meaning you are either in the office already or offshore, basically. And here are the inspected areas that we saw in the mobile application. As you can see here, all collected answers and observation text is also visible in the dashboard. From here, you can change the answer if you decide, if once you are back in the office and you are reconsidering the rating that you have provided and you decide that this has to be changed, it's absolutely possible just to select not okay or to give a different rating, apply the changes, and that will change the answer of the inspection immediately. In addition to that, you can change the wording, you can fix typos. We all know how we type on the mobile device. So any wording can be changed here, can be extended. In addition to that, if, for example, you cannot or do not want to take photos through the mobile application, Kaiko mobile application, but for example, you need to use an intrinsically safe camera to take the photo evidences, you can upload them on your laptop, your computer, and then from here you can upload additional photos that are matching. I'm picking up random photos right now, but you can select photos and assign them to the inspected area here. And by clicking apply, they will be saved and they be included in the final report. In the same way, if we go to an area where we have already collected photo evidences, just find one, like here, for example, but you have collected, let's say, 20 photos for the inspection area, and of course you don't want to keep all of them because some is not on focus, some is not completely relevant. You can just remove it in the same way, click apply, and move forward with formatting the editor. But what is the biggest advantage of our show report editor is that in addition to just amending the inspection data, you can also add and remove the whole inspected areas. You can add additional blocks and sections in the report that would allow you to have and follow the structure that you want in the final reporting for the vessel. For example, here I have that software risk registered inspection, and I figure out that I actually do not need that one. Maybe I have marked it as not applicable, or it's not applicable in general for the report that I want to have. I can simply click delete and remove it. But instead, maybe I have noticed that something else is not quite all right while I was inspecting and visiting the vessel. I can add another inspection and directly give a rating, apply, give some observation text based on your needs, upload additional photos, and that would allow you to have also inspected areas that are not part of the original reporting structure included in the final report. Assuming that you went through all inspected areas, you finalized, you polished everything, all ratings are as they are expected, and you are happy with the results, or you are curious how the report is going to look like, you just go up and click download PDF report button. That what will happen is that would generate a PDF report out of the structure that was displayed here. And I'm just clicking download PDF report, and what we are going to see is the PDF report generated out of the inspection data that was collected from the mobile application and from the dashboard. This is how the landing photo looks like with the vessel particulars, inspection particulars, and the summaries that I mentioned earlier. Inspections with ratings, okay, not okay. Inspections with photos. The inspections with photos here have small thumbnails as a reference. And if we scroll down, what I also added in the report, at the end of the report, is a gallery section. The gallery section, of course, is an optional thing, and you can have it in your report. What it shows is basically all inspection photos, part of the report, part of the inspection data in bigger resolution related to the inspected area that they belong. You can have that section, you can exclude it if you want, depending on the reports that you want to create. And at the end of our report, I also added a table with the findings. So all identified findings during the vessel visit are listed here in very plain way. Just the name of the inspection, the observation text with the date when the finding was identified, and a deadline if such have been set. Finally, in the dashboard, going back to the vessel itself, the technical superintendent and basically everyone from the shore team can see and follow up on the findings from our dashboard. So for each vessel, there is a table with the findings identified during the vessel visit and shore report inspections. So the technical superintendent from here can open the finding and leave a comment, what I showed you earlier in the mobile application, and follow up with the crew about the status of this finding. Having said that and showing you how we are solving the problem, I will hand over now back to Tai for one more poll that we have.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Jordanka, for that. And ladies and gentlemen, she is correct. It is that time of the webinar once again for a poll question that's going to be popping up for you in just a second. And this one is pretty straightforward. How quickly do you finalize the reports after a vessel visit? Is it same day, within 2 to 3 days, within a week, or even longer than a week? So once again, fingers on the ready. See a bit more balance in some of the results over here. We've got around 35% split between within 2 to 3 days and within a week. A decent chunk for longer than a week. Some, very few, saying same day. Keep those results coming in.
It's interesting, Tai, what our goal with the shore reports and the template editor especially is exactly to reduce that big time spent in post-processing of the reports, because basically what we are giving as a solution is a structured way of collecting the data, so that once you are back in the office, you won't need to go through all photos and rearrange them, put them in the right place. Everything would be already organized following the reporting structure that you have.
Exactly. And it seems like we've sort of got to the end of the results where around 40% of you say that it takes about a week to finalize reports after a vessel visit. And we can just imagine how that can sort of compound, as previously mentioned, when dealing with more than one vessel and more than one report as well. Amazing. Thank you very much. And just a side note, please keep those questions coming in. We will answer them in the Q&A section at the end. We're not ignoring anyone, I promise you. We just would like the opportunity to go through those all at once when we can. Fantastic. Thank you everyone again for taking part in the poll, providing us with some of your answers and some clarity. One thing to mention, I think, is, Jordanka did a really amazing job of taking you through the demonstration where we're at the moment. And, we didn't stop just at theory. We've already got a couple of customers actively using shore reports in a pilot phase at the moment, including some major operators as well. to test across different vessel types and different experience levels of superintendents as well, to get that feedback and ultimately make this a better tool for you guys. And what we're hearing at the moment is that reports that used to take 2-3 days, in some cases maybe a week or so, are now done in just a couple of hours. Superintendents are leaving vessels with their reports probably between 65 and 75% complete, with a few minor tweaks and changes just to sort of cross the I's and dot the T's. Shore teams are also receiving cleaner, more standardized outputs, which at the end of the day means less back and forth and faster decision making, and being able to action things in a lot more efficient manners. One superintendent that we spoke to told us, for the first time, I don't actually dread writing the report after an inspection. It's almost finished by the time I get off the gangway. So that's great news for us, but even better news for him. And, we are working very closely with our existing customers to tailor these templates and ensure that they align with your sort of company forms and expectations as well. Something that I think is very clear, and Jurdanka mentioned it as well, is the customization of the Shore Reports module, being able to adapt to your internal formats, your workflows, and fit within your compliance structure. I think that's a key element here. And some of the points that I want to touch on the value and the impact that we see from this is, firstly, eliminating data silos. So giving you that seamless connection between Kaiko, your PMS, ERP, any other platform, to ensure that you have one version of the truth, no double entry, no conflicting data. You've also then got the ability to enhance your workflow efficiency. So inspection results, maintenance records, and compliance data can flow automatically between systems, cutting out the admin time and human error. This gives you strengthened decision-making, so aggregated real-time insights, allowing shore teams to spot patterns, prioritize actions, and optimize that fleet performance faster. You've then got the ability to boost your compliance and transparency as well. So integrations with vetting, port state control, internal audit systems provide you with that instant access to verified records and a proof of due diligence as well. What we're looking at, obviously, is to drive ROI and scalability. So fewer manual tasks, quicker turnarounds, across system visibility means lower costs and higher confidence across all teams and departments. And at the end of the day, closing the line, Kaiko becoming the single source of truth, operational truth, connecting people, processes, and data for a faster, more compliant fleet, which I think is really amazing. So what's to come? Basically, what's on the roadmap? What can you expect? I'm not going to divulge too much into that. I think there's an opportunity for you guys to reach out and engage and at least get a little bit of a taste and feel for it. Some of you might have attended the last webinar that we hosted focusing on Kai, Kaiko's artificial intelligence, and how we use AI to enhance the data and information provided about specific vessels. The aim here would then obviously be to level up Shore Reports by integrating this functionality and allowing further reduction in time spent in generating these reports. So yeah, lots to look forward to, a lot of expectations, and we are really excited to be rolling this out. So my ask for everyone on the call is reach out, engage, test the system, let's have a discussion and see how we can potentially integrate this into your existing workflows as well. That brings us to the Q&A section, and I did see a couple of questions trickling in. Taz, I'm going to probably rope you in once again, so we're going to pass over to you.
Amazing. First things first, thank you, Ty and Jurdanka. Absolutely brilliant webinar, really insightful. And like you've said, yeah, the questions have been coming in thick and fast. So I will talk a little bit more about standardization. So I think, one of the key points with Kaiko Systems, and a few of our existing customers and users are on the webinar as well, is that we want to standardize that data collection, and we want to standardize the data input across fleets, across our user base. One of the questions that has been asked by Jan is, can you automate the report names based on the report type to avoid everyone having their personal preference on how the same report should be named? So again, this is talking a little bit more about standardization. It's talking about ensuring there is that consistency across the fleet and making sure, I think, Jan, if I can paraphrase from your question, that there isn't kind of 10 different sources of the truth. So Jordanka, I saw you nodding. I'm going to throw that one to you.
Yeah, thank you, Taz. Yeah, currently, as you saw, our report editor is quite flexible, and our first and main goal was to give the full flexibility for everyone to use it as they want. But yes, our plans are to be able to automate first the naming, to have a naming convention for the reports that are created out of template. Second, to be able, I saw another question here about being able to define the structure of the report itself so that not everyone can change it completely to change the structure. These are things that are actually in our pipeline, and we are going to work on that in the next months.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And I'm going to flip between the Q&A widget and the chat widget because there's questions in both. Michael's asked, in the question sections, are there any code reference of the CVIQ sections of SIRE 2 or RISC 3.1 of RightShip? So I think this is looking at SMS references, but also any kind of reference codes for those particular vetting inspections. Is that something that we're able to add in during implementation?
Totally, it does. So any reference, any additional information can be added in the template itself when we are creating the template based on the structure that is provided from our customers, our users. And yeah, we can reference everything basically.
Amazing. Another one from Jan. So how are the templates made? Is this done by users or created by Kaiko Systems based on customer requests? So I can start this one, and Ty and Jordanka, shout me down if I'm saying something bad, as most salespeople do, because we're known for selling dreams. Ultimately, the way that Kaiko Systems works is we have a standard setup. So there is an out-of-the-box setup that can be customized during your implementation phase. What that essentially means is that you will have a library of templates for the Sure Reports module, and if there are elements that you want added or elements that you want customizing based on your company procedures and your standard operating procedures, we're able to do that. So, similar to Jordanka's answer for the previous question, when it comes to SMS references, CIVQ and RightShip 3.1 references, we can actually customize that as well. There are loads of questions coming through. So this one from Dimitar. Is the dashboard giving a warning for soon due or overdue findings? Can a due date of a finding be extended? Is there a printout of the rectification process until all jobs are finalized? So I think one thing to mention there, Dimitar, is if you want to print things out, you can. But again, the modus operandi of Kaiko Systems is to ensure that everything is digital. And I think Tyler mentioned in his part of the presentation, it brings everything on a single pane of glass. So you're not looking at multiple systems, you're not looking at multiple documents. Ty, Jordanka, which one of you would like to take that one?
Okay, I'll take it. So for following up on the whole process, yes, for sure. Currently, we have only 2 stages in the findings, in identified findings, active and rectified. What we are also planning to introduce later on is to have the full stages of work in progress findings. After that, completed or acknowledged finding rectification by the technical superintendent. We still don't have it though. Otherwise, in terms of notifying and highlighting findings that are overdue, yes, this is especially visible in the mobile application, not only in the dashboard, because yeah, we are using color coding that is highlighting basically findings that are expiring or overdue. In addition to that, yes, every finding can be downloaded as a separate report, separate PDF report. And if you want, you can share it with whoever you want. But yeah, this is not the main scope, as a task said, for the show reports.
Amazing. A brilliant question from Michael in the chat. Since the environment is dynamic, can we combine two reports, for instance, a technical and marine report, to create one report for submission to top management? Is that something that will be possible, or is that something that we've kind of planned to put into our roadmap?
Merging two existing reports into one for efficiency currently is not possible, and actually this is the first time that someone is raising that topic. But maybe we can have additional call, and we can talk about the show reports, and we can figure out in more details what is the use case and how we can solve it, and then I can give more information.
Amazing. So off the back of that one, Michael, if you want to drop a message to tyler@kaikosystems.com, we'll be able to set up a call so we can talk through that and see what we can do. A really good question here from Ivan on how this module and this tool works with various existing planned maintenance systems on board vessels. I think here it's really important to highlight that this is not designed to replace any PMS. It's not designed to replace any ERP. It's designed to complement. So one of the things that we can do is, if you have API access to those ERP and PMS systems, again, it's arranging a call with our IT team, and we'll be able to kind of link into that. So provide you with either a prompt in your planned maintenance system that creates that work order, or flags it in your ERP as well. A few more questions, please do keep them coming in. Really good one here. Can the TSI or office reject a corrective action and require a new rectification action? Ty, do you want to take that one?
Sure. Just mention that again. I lost the audio just a little bit.
No worries. Can the TSI or the office reject a corrective action and require a new rectification action?
Yeah, so there's obviously that back and forth, that channel between ship and shore. So any sort of rectification that is done from the vessel side of things in the application would obviously then sync with the dashboard. But if that isn't sufficient and there is pushback and something needs to be altered or amended, then those comments can be made, to further close that out. So yes, the possibility is there for sure. Just conscious of time as well. I think we've slightly overran here, and appreciate all of the questions that have been coming in. We will get to the rest of them and follow up with you individually for sure, and maybe set up some time to go through those with you one by one. But that brings us pretty much to the end of today's webinar. As you can see on the screen, we are currently live on about 1,500 vessels, with the hope of further aiding and assisting plenty more. So book in some time with us, as you can see on the screen in front of you. Please reach out to either myself at t.hewitt@kaikosystems.com, and I'd be happy to answer all of your questions and go through a more detailed demo once again with you. Alternatively, if you can't reach me because my inbox is overflooded, reach out to Taz at t.bachu@kaikosystems.com. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.